Well, good afternoon and welcome to Seattle's Eastside Real Estate Team's podcast. It's your go-to source for living, working, and playing on the East Side. Today is Wednesday, May 17th, and we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Please feel free to comment. If you have any questions on today's content, we're happy to respond live and in person if you've got any questions, comments, or concerns. Today, we are joined by our good friend Tucker Maxwell of Guild Mortgage, and we are going to do a little crosstalk segment here. And actually, from a logistical purpose, so that I can actually talk to you rather than at the above me, I'm going to move things around here. This is live editing in person logistics. Boom. Okay, there we go. So now I can actually look at you rather than looking at that video up there. All right. So we're going to talk. Today's topic is things that you need to know before moving to the Seattle area. Now, this is the East Side podcast. So we're talking a lot about the East Side, but a lot of folks, when they first hear or consider or think about moving, it's always a conversation about moving to Seattle. And then it becomes like, where in Seattle? And I love Seattle. I've been here since since 93. Tucker, how long have you been in the greater Seattle area?
Since 2005.
2005. So, there's a lot a lot of places to explore. And so sometimes that search will start out like moving to Seattle. So we're going to talk about moving to Seattle and some of the pros and cons, what you need to know. So we'll kind of start out about the location. Like, Seattle is kind of almost like the forgotten area. A lot of times people talk about LA, on the West Coast. Well, we're also on the West Coast. And other times people fly up to Alaska and they think, oh, that's the farthest, west. And really Seattle is kind of like this little spot located on the Puget Sound. The Puget Sound is kind of like this intercoastal sea waterway, I guess it is called. And it's not on the ocean, but it is on a sound, which is beautiful, fantastic scenery. So Tucker, did I leave anything out there? What else did people need to know about Seattle and where we're located?
No, I think you nailed it. I think going back to your Alaska comment that's really how Seattle got its big start, was back in the gold rush, when this was the last kind of stop before you headed up to Alaska to find gold.
Oh, that's a total good point. As a matter of fact, that's a lot of the supplies that were delivered to the Yukon passed through Seattle, up from San Francisco to Seattle. The jumping off points, a lot of times when people came back with their big hauls, they came to Seattle. Yeah, I love that. Way to bring the history out, Dad. Good job.
Yeah.
All right, so we're not going to lie. Seattle is known for rainy weather. What would you say, Tucker? How rainy is it?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people picture, when you say Seattle and rain, they picture torrential downpours like it does in the South, where here it just rains buckets day in and day out. And that's really not true. I think the real reality of the rain here is it's just a misty gray often. And so it's not a bunch of inches of rain, but just gray and misty most days.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, I've born and raised in the Northwest, so my first stop was in the Portland area before I moved to Seattle. So the temperament for not seeing the sun for months or weeks, it's already there ingrained in me. But SAD is a real thing, which is I can't remember what it's an acronym for depression related to lack of sunlight. So there's a lot of gray time, but the truth is, people are really kind of come here. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've had people come here because they're like, we're just sick of it being so hot and we just want to have it cool a little bit. And they just kind of love the cool and lack of sun. And also too, do you ever hike in the rain?
Yeah, often.
Yeah, me too. It's not a big deal, right? Because you got trees and canopies and stuff like that. So the bluest skies you've ever seen are in Seattle. That is a song, I think. So let's talk a little bit. I wouldn't say this is a negative, but it can be portrayed as a negative. Tucker, one of the things about Seattle is the cost of living, right? It's actually higher than a lot of cities across the United States. It may be a challenge for folks if they're not accustomed to it, especially in the housing market. Am I right?
That's correct. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But what I will say is what Seattle, I want to say it probably changed in the early 90s when the tech industry took its foothold from Microsoft and really started to create an industry where folks that sat inside and coded all day in the rain could actually make money. So there is, of course, a lot of technology jobs, which is what is driving the cost of living. Do you see a lot of people with, a lot of tech sector in your loan applications?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say it makes up a majority of our applications are people that are employees of one of five or six tech companies.
Yeah. So with all of those great salaries come a higher cost of living.
Yep.
Everything from the groceries you buy to the utilities that you spend. But the good news is it's not just the tech sectors. What are some of the other industries that are prevalent here in the Seattle area?
Yeah, so I think you have a coffee sector. That's one. Of course, Starbucks has driven that. You have Boeing, so aerospace, not just in airplane manufacturing, but all the supply that comes with aerospace. And then I think we talked about this recently on one of your podcasts is the space boom and Redmond now really on the east side taking off as a space location with SpaceX and Blue Origin and a few other kind of outer exploration companies coming in.
Yeah, engineers are going to find something to do here for sure.
Totally.
Between Boeing and Blue Origin. Blue Origin's in Renton, right? Down.
Yeah, I think technically Kent, but yeah, on the south end of the east side.
Okay, cool. Let's see what else. Transportation. So one of the great things about Seattle is they have invested heavily over the last 20 years in a light rail system. So you've got a light rail system, and then you've got connector transit all throughout the city. So you can get from the airport all the way up to Northgate, which is north of downtown Seattle. And I don't know about you, Tucker, but I actually hop on the light rail and I head down to a ball game. I don't even bother parking. I take the light rail down there, and I know Bellevue opened up. I think it's opening soon.
It's opening soon. I actually have a view of the east side rail, and they're testing the cars now, but it hasn't opened. I think there's some delays on the bridge.
Yeah, I should probably have done some research on that, but I do believe it's going to go. It is planned to go all the way out to Redmond.
Correct.
Right now, I believe it's to Overlake is supposed to be opening soon, which is actually still Redmond, but through downtown Bellevue across the Mercer Island. So that's an island in the middle of Lake Washington. So lots of transportation. Yeah, there can be traffic. I think that as major cities go, this is a fact. When the economy is booming, there's always traffic. So it doesn't matter about the size of the city. It's actually the economy. So the signs of a healthy city are ones with traffic. Well, and there's maybe gridlock, but it's better people moving around than it is no business, no work. Right? You got to shut the place down. Sports. Tucker, do you watch any major league sports?
I do. Season ticket holder with the Sounders, so go Sounders. You said the bluest skies are in Seattle. That's a Sounders chant. The greenest green and the bluest blue you've ever seen is right here in Seattle, and that's due to supporting our Sounders.
Yeah, and Sounders have won how many MLS championships? Two.
They've won two, correct?
Two.
Yep. Been to three. 1-2.
Gotcha. And then let's see, football. We've won a Super Bowl, the Seahawks. Great
That's right.
football team. We have a Major League Rugby team, which I'm a big fan of the rugby team. We have a hockey team that made it to the quarterfinals.
Yep.
Did you watch any of those hockey games?
I did. Yeah, Game 7 was a little bit of a disappointment, but man, hockey, I've really gotten into it this year, with the Kraken being around for 2 years, and I'm just blown away with the skill level of those hockey players.
Yeah. And Major League Baseball. So we've got the Mariners who made the playoffs for the first time in 21 years last year. So, and they've got a young upcoming ball club. So if you like sports, I'll also add the arts, right? We have Paramount Theater. We have Fifth Avenue Theater. We have, I'm going to forget some. There's a couple in Seattle Center that are, I can't remember the name of it. But I mean, and then music. I mean, the reason why I came to Seattle was the music scene. So
I'm right there with you.
yeah. I'm trying to think. The Paramount has great music. White River Amphitheater, that's out south of Auburn,
Yeah.
southeast of Auburn. But Columbia Gorge, which is a short drive, maybe 2 hours from the east side, 2.5 maybe. Some great music out there. I think, don't they do the country music festival out there too? I don't really know because I don't listen to a lot of country music, but
Yeah, I'm drawing a
Stagecoach,
blank on the name.
Stagecoach, something like that. I don't know.
Stagecoach is in California, and
Oh,
it is I'll draw a blank, but yeah, they call it Heaven's Amphitheater. I think it's on most music lovers' bucket list to see a concert at the Gorge.
yes, I've been out there several times. I've seen Dave Matthews out there. I've seen what was Fish. Oh, that was awesome. A lot of fun.
Yep, I saw Tom Petty play there.
Tom Petty, that would be good. So the music scene is great. I mean, Seattle's such a great world-class city. It's known for, a lot of people that haven't ever been there, all they really think and know about it is the rain. And I have to tell you, it was about 3 weeks ago. I was in the Puget Sound with a friend of mine on his boat fishing. And I'm not really a fisherman, but if you like fishing, this was a perfect day for it. And we're just cruising along and we look up and we've got Mount Baker in the background, 10,000 foot peak. And then you've got this beautiful blue water there and the sun was shining. And we pulled some fish out of the water and made fish tacos that night. And it is a beautiful place to live, to be from, to visit. Gosh, I feel like I left something out, but there's a lot of reasons to like it. And I will say this too, from a standpoint of the infrastructure, and we talk a lot about housing and stuff like that. There's definitely a lot of diversity in where you can live in the greater Seattle area. Eastside is where we have spent our time because that's our focus, that's our niche. And everything that I talk about, the greater Puget Sound area, is all available to somebody that's living on the east side. The best thing about living on the east side is you're quick to the mountains and you're still downtown Seattle. So I'll just wrap this segment up. Anything else you want to add, Tucker, about living in the Seattle area?
Well, relating it to real estate, I think the one thing that's really important for people to understand is you mentioned the high prices. But the nice thing about the area is we are considered a high cost area from a loan perspective, which allows people to borrow more money with less down, which that's really unique when you look across the country. Most places are capped at loan amounts in the 700s. Here we can go to almost $1 million with 5% down. And so while prices are high, we can still get people into homes with little out of pocket.
Well, that's awesome. And I think to get some nuances in that, I think when you consider the appreciation on a $500,000 house versus a $750,000 house, while the percentage of the appreciation may be the same, the actual dollars in your pocket are different. So if you're putting 5% down on a $500,000 house, quick math, 5 times 5, that's 25,000. Is that right? Did I do that right? Okay. Versus 5% of 750. Oh my gosh, I can't do that. 7 times 5 is 35,000, 37, 8,000.
37,500.
I was close.
Yeah.
So 37,000. But from a dollars to dollars standpoint, right? When you appreciate it 5% at 750, right? That's another 35,000 on the 35,000 investment. But if you appreciate it 5% at the other one, it's a 25 on 25. So you're investing more and you're actually earning more. I don't know if that's a straight line, it's a quick, easy example off the top of my head, but maybe you can get the idea is that less money down, yet you're able to earn more equity because you're earning at a higher rate. You're earning at the same rate, but a higher dollar amount.
Exactly.
That's what I meant to say. All right. Okay. So we are going to take a very short commercial break. Then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about loan level price adjustments and all the hype associated with that. So join us after this short commercial break.